Hi, in this video I'm going to compare the Canon PR1000R laser presenter with the Logitech R400 laser presenter. Okay, I've already got a video on the Canon one, so if you want to look at the unboxing and everything like that, you're welcome to have a look at it. In terms of the Logitech, this is the blister pack, comes with this, and there's a little rolled up carry bag in the back of the blister pack. Okay, so if that's the first difference, the Logitech comes with this little cloth bag, although not very big, so well, it fits in nicely, but it's not a very big thing. So you can see that if you want to put it in from the back end, you'll see that it's not as easy. But anyway, nevertheless, it comes with a carry bag, nice snug carry bag, while the Canon does not. All right, so bag aside, what is the difference? Well, looking at these, you can see a major difference in the design that the two manufacturers went for. The Canon went for a titanium look with a black plastic at the back, while the Logitech went for almost like a rubberized, very matte, while gloss set of buttons here, a little bit more premium looking on the Logitech. And on the back end, you can have a look, there's the warning label and obviously the battery cover for the single AA battery, which comes with the unit if you are getting the Canon. But the Logitech also has the batteries coming with the unit, but two batteries, so two AA while one AA. Now in terms of battery life, the Logitech says it can do 20 hours. The Canon, I'm not sure. I have been using this for a few months and I have not had to change battery, so I've had no problems. Look, obviously that does depend on the user. Okay, now going to the dongles, you can see that the Logitech has got a much bigger dongle versus the Canon with a much smaller dongle. But personally, I prefer the Logitech smaller dongle for the mouse and keyboard. Now, if you're someone who's going to use this Logitech or Canon in your dedicated device, well, both of these dongles are going to be annoying because you will have to disconnect them if you are going to be carrying around a laptop, especially if you're going to put it in a bag. It will get bumped or bashed there, while the Canon, being smaller, is a bit better, but still not in the line of the miniature dongle that Logitech also have available. Looking at the dongles, you see they both are directional. You cannot put it in the wrong way, so that's a nice feature. And the Canon, as you see, if you put it in the right way, it's snug, while if you put it in the wrong way, it sticks out. So they've both got a directional appeal there, and the dongle fits into the unit itself. Okay, now in terms of the buttons, the Canon comes with a volume button on the side here, while the Logitech has not got that. So this is a benefit of the Logitech. Let me just say that these are similarly priced, although the Canon I think is a bit cheaper on Amazon, but in my country the Canon is considerably cheaper. So we're looking at a third of the price, 1/3 cheaper on the Canon. So this would be much cheaper than the Logitech, although on Amazon they are quite similar. So it does depend on your country. Now looking here, as I said, you got a volume button up and down, while the Logitech does not have it, but they both do have a on-off button on the other side. The Canon makes more sense because on being forward, off being back, while the Logitech is off being forward and on being back. I don't get that logic of Logitech. What is nice is it tells you the battery. There's a little green battery there that comes on, so when you switch it on, just notifying you. So that's a nice feature. When you switch it on, it does tell you that you've switched it on. There's a little LED there. All these buttons signal that LED. If I press any one of these buttons, there's a little LED there telling you that you've depressed a button. Obviously when it's off, it's not going to do that. All right, now in terms of the Logitech, it does not signal when you're pressing the buttons unless you're pressing the laser pointer button. Then you'll see the little red. There you'll see an illumination, a red illumination there telling you you're pressing the laser pointer, but the other buttons do not have any illumination, while the Canon, on the other hand, has a pinhole, as I said, but it's very small. However, it is functional. It does show you that you are pressing a button, and when I've held this in my hand, I can see that pinhole LED there, so I'm not going to complain about it. All right, now in terms of the buttons, carrying on, what I did notice is the Canon has a forward button on top and a back button at the bottom, but notice these are in a line. It's a linear setup. I prefer the Logitech's forward being there and back being there, because you can see that makes logical sense, because you want to be able to go ahead in your presentation and go back in your presentation. You can see it's easy to navigate. While this one, if you're talking and so forth and your hand moves, your thumb moves down, you've got to feel your way and count and say, okay, second, third, okay, forward, back. So this isn't as intuitive. I would have preferred these buttons back to back or side to side, and then you would know that this is forward and this is back. What is intuitive is that these are flat and the laser pointer button is rounded. So that is a good feature, because then I know I'm pressing the laser pointer button because it's got a different texture under my finger. Okay, so just looking at the laser pointing, you'll see that they are slightly different. The Logitech on this side is a bit bigger in terms of the beam width, while the Canon on this side is a bit smaller. Not something to to write home about, but if you wanted something that could display on an LCD screen or a screen with a large backlight, neither of these would work. They both get washed out when you use them on a TV screen that's got a white backing. Normally if you've got a white black text on a white screen, well, you won't see either of these laser pointers, although the Logitech is slightly wider in terms of the laser pointer. Now, none of these are premium in terms of the high-end devices. These are probably more on the entry level. And in terms of how far you can stand from these little dongles, even though they're different sizes, they work pretty much the same. I did my test and I found that if there are people walking by, or if you have to walk and there's a little wall in the way of your receiver, well, it won't work. So these are line of sight. They say 15 meters, which is about 50 feet. So this is for small venues. You're not going to be in a very large studio or a very large classroom where you are 30 or 40 meters away. It's not going to work. So I wouldn't recommend these. These would be for more your classrooms, your small classrooms, or if you've got line of sight. But if you've got a lot of people walking by and things like that, well, then I wouldn't recommend them. Okay, getting back to the buttons, you can see that the laser pointer button is here on the Canon, while this one is the Logitech's one. It's kind of the first button in the row of buttons, in the column of buttons. But the Canon does not have the blank your display button. It's got play and then kind of like stop your presentation, start the presentation and stop your presentation. And the Logitech also has start your presentation, stop the presentation, but it's got a blank your display. Now that is a useful feature, because if you want to talk to your students or the people you're presenting to and you don't want them to read what's on the screen, or you want to get their attention, maybe the children, you press that button and it blanks the display. I don't see that feature on the Canon. Now, in terms of the Canon, we are getting the volume up and down button, which goes together with the play button. Now, why I'm discussing that is because, say in your PowerPoint presentation, you've got a little media video. Well, then you can press the play button and then it will start the video, and then there you can use the volume button to adjust the volume of your little video, for example. So that's quite useful. In terms of the construction, well, I've got to give it to the Logitech. A few things that bother me on the Canon. The first one is over here. You can see this is where the laser is actually, the beam of the laser is coming out, and it's open. So I can see the laser lens itself inside there. And what happens when lint or dirt gets inside there, it obviously blocks the beam width, and having this not coming with a carry case means that lint and dust or dirt could get in there and block the beam width. While on the Logitech, you can see it's got a little clear plastic covering, which could be susceptible to getting scratched and obviously reducing the effect of the laser pointer. But again, I do think that is better, because dirt or sediment cannot get in there. In terms of the forward and back button, well, again, that's why I said I prefer the Logitech. In terms of the price, well, obviously the Canon suits me better because it's cheaper. What I do like about the Canon is it's lighter. Now, if you have a look at the mass of the Canon, it is considerably lighter than the Logitech. Look at that. That is 39 grams, while the Logitech, having that second battery, is almost 62 grams. Although it's not a game changer, but it is significant. So if you're someone like me who likes to travel light, well, I try and pick the lightest things that are available to me, and this is lighter. yet doing a similar job to the Logitech. They both do a similar thing. The Logitech is more common. If you go to conferences and things like that, you will probably find the Logitech already there on the table for you. So that means that if you have your Canon, it's a little bit different. You know, people won't think you've walked away with the venues presenter, because the Canon is not as common. But overall, I do give it to the Logitech. It's got a premium feel. I'd like the back and forward button, and that's the main purpose of the pointer, is for me pointing and going next slide and reversing slide. And with the Canon, I don't really like this linear approach, because you have to kind of concentrate on the placement of the buttons, while the Logitech, it's a little bit, it frees your mind a little bit more, because I don't have to think, I don't have to do that extra step locating a button, while here it's already there. So that brings me to the end of this presentation. Thanks for watching. Cheers.